gentlemen, Legend in My Spare Time podcast.
This podcast is a proud member of the IHOP Network, the International House of Podcasts.
Hey there, this is everyone's favorite women's champion, Mickie James, and you are listening to Legend in My Spare Time podcast.
Legend in My Spare Time.
Legend in My Spare Time contains themes and subjects that may not be suitable for everyone listening. If you're easily offended, we suggest you get your podcast on elsewhere.
Motherfucker. Legend in My Spare Time.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and listeners all around the world, to your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast. That's right, Legend in My Spare Time. We are back. We are glad to be here, and by we, I of course, as always, mean the royal we, which is myself and the most exciting man in podcasting, Just Johnny. He is back. Where are you at, you handsome devil? Say hello to the lovely listeners.
Hello to the lovely fans, as you like to refer to them.
No, they're not fans. They are friends. They are listeners. They are family. They are not fans. All right? Only real douchebags would refer to their listeners as fans. But anyway.
Why did you do that accent?
No idea.
Hey, only douchebags, eh?
Sometimes I slip into accents. As you know, it just sort of happens. So,
Sure, buddy.
Folks, we're so glad to be back. Make sure you follow us at Legend Podcast on Twitter if you're not, so that you never miss a single episode. We got a Facebook group too, isn't that right, Just Johnny?
We do?
Yeah, that's right, man. You're in there. You're obviously a frequent follower of it
on social media.
Yeah, but speaking of social media, there's also a Facebook group now for the iHoppers, which is for our lovely listeners. I dropped something. I apologize for the background noise. Our lovely listeners of the iHop Network, which of course is a great podcasting network, the International House of Podcasts, and that includes ourselves, of course, Legend in My Spare Time. You've got Ozzy and the Palm. You've got Not Another Nerdy Podcast. I love those motherfuckers. Tom, you my boy. We've got... What else? The Dudes in Toyland. I mean, what's not to love? They talk about toys. I fucking love toys. And then we've got, of course, from Ozzy and the Palm. The Palm also has a football show, and I forgot the name. Kurtzo and Keitzo. I'm sorry if I messed that up, but I think that's everybody. Did I forget anybody there? IHOP Network.
No, I think we've done them all. We've covered all of our fellow podcasters.
That's right. Yeah. So check out the International House of Retweets. I mean, podcast network, and see all the great things going on there. But seriously, folks, I was just on the Ozzy and the Palm show this past week. Just Johnny, their last episode featured your boy Matty Lees, and it was quite a good time. So folks, check that out too. And so there you have it. Have you guested on any podcast recently? He said knowingly.
Shit. I kind of feel like that there's supposed to be a yes, but I can't think of any.
No, there's definitely a no. I was just kind of throwing it under the bus there. It was funny. I also guessed...
Oh, right, because you have and I haven't.
Right. Yeah, see, because I also...
being a dick.
I was being facetious, as I do, right? So I was also on another podcast called Talking Codswallop, which is a great show with Gemma and her buddies. I can't remember. I'm sorry. Andy's one of them, and we really got along great because he's a bit of a miserable fucker too. But anyway... the reason I brought that up, other than you should definitely check that show out, our episode with me drops on the 11th, just saying. But Gemma mentioned that her co-hosts record their own sides of the conversation on their end and then send her the file, which she then matches up. And I said, I can barely get Just Johnny to press accept on the Skype screen. Man, how'd you get these people to record themselves? You know? Because the struggle is real.
Is it me? It probably is, because, I'm nice like that. That seems like a lot of work.
No, it's definitely not a lot of work, man.
Because I think about it, if you record from your end, it's done then, isn't it? You got the master file, you got both on there.
Yeah, sure. But you say that as if you would have to do any more work than you kind of do right now, other than dropping a file in a Dropbox folder.
And clicking a record.
I know, it's tough. And making sure the levels are okay and making sure you're speaking into the mic, right, Dr. Squee? So I guess I understand. But do you see now, if you're listening from that show where I said that about Just Johnny, he's just proved it himself. So anyway, that's wonderful. I'm so glad that we're back.
What did I just prove?
how I said that I can barely get you to hit record. And then you basically went on a thing about like, yeah, but then I'd have to hit record and send you a file, and then I got to do that. So you kind of...
It's kind of like a salesman. All you'd have to do is this little thing, and then these 100 things.
Yeah, I know.
A?
Don't add an A on the end and be Canadian about it, A?
A? B? A?
Anyway, look, in all seriousness...
Any way?
Anyway.
No, okay. I guess that one didn't quite work.
Wah, wah. Anyway, look. We're so glad to be back, and especially because we've been, 2 weeks or something? Anyway, we've had a lot of listeners check in with us since our last couple of...
Abuse.
We're amateurs. I turned my mic off, so you could hear me. The listeners couldn't. I apologize. Good Lord, this is going well so far. Anyway, since our last...
Wait, how long has it been off for? Oh, like literally just turned it off?
Yeah, just like for a second there, man. I'm not an idiot. I'm not an idiot. Idiot. But, okay, so we've had listener interaction since our last episode. Now this one here, I think this is something aimed at you because I say so many silly things on this show, Danny. So our buddy Danny Abbott sent in and he says, at Legend Podcast, finding all the main characters at once is damn near impossible. # golden unicorn.
Finding all the main characters at once.
It's obviously something we said, and I'm really glad he listened and wrote in, but I don't remember. Is this a Rick and Morty thing?
I don't know. This just feels like it's showing off our professionalism.
Totally. I mean, it could also be maybe Endgame related, but this is too early. I don't know. Danny, I'm so glad you wrote in, but remind our stupid asses. And in all seriousness now, Danny, between you and me, even though the listeners are all here too, I will send you that fucking action figure we talked about. So get up in my DMs, man, if you're comfortable, and send me a P.O. box or something, and I will.
Slide right on in.
Now, you came up with a game last episode called If Big Myself, Shazam Myself, right?
Yes, I did.
And we both enjoyed that very much. Danny played too. He says, at Legend Podcast, if I could big myself, I will become John Candy from Uncle Buck. I'll stop for a moment. What did you giggle at there?
If I could big myself. That just sounds rude.
This is your game, man. You came up with the name.
Yeah, I know. And I can't believe you actually let me.
Look, man, this is your podcast too. So, Danny Abbott, if he could big himself, I would become John Candy from Uncle Buck. Classic movie, classic actor, excellent choice from Danny Boy. If you tell me you haven't seen Uncle Buck, I'm hanging up on you, man.
I can't remember my answer. Wolverine, I think it was, wasn't it? No.
Yeah, no, don't. Yeah, it was. Your answer was Wolverine if you could big yourself, right? No, that was if you could Shazam yourself.
I can't remember who I said, but if I could big myself. But why John Candy?
Because John Candy's awesome. Why not?
But wouldn't you be stuck in that world?
What?
You'd be Uncle Buck. You know, the kind of quirky uncle that's... Does he end up with that girl after?
I believe that he does.
Or something he's chatting to?
Did we just both... Wait. Did we just both sip our tea at the same time?
I think we did.
This is the greatest episode ever. Okay, but anyway. Danny.
It's real tea, though.
Danny, I got your back here, man. This is your game, Johnny, and now you're giving him a hard time for his choice.
Well, what's the point in playing a game if I can't make up or bend the rules?
You mean just be a dick?
Yeah.
I wonder where you learned that from. Anyway, I love the movie Uncle Buck. You skirted the issue, and I think that's because you're scared of it, because I threatened to hang up on you if you hadn't seen Uncle Buck.
I kind of want to say I haven't now, just to be a dick, but regretfully I have.
What do you mean regret? What? Why? You didn't like it?
No, it's not that I didn't like it. It was good. You know, it's no, Rick and Morty.
Buddy, my finger is skirting on the reject button for this call right now.
I have seen it, so...
Yeah, Danny, don't listen to him, buddy. He just says hurtful things sometimes because he thinks it makes him sound like a tough guy. Now...
Don't get me wrong, it was a good film. He's a sweetheart. He doesn't pretend to be crazy to stop the bullies from bullying his nephew.
Well, he threatens to rip the ward off of the face of a principal. That's for sure.
Thing.
And then there's a dude getting handy with his niece, and he lays a little whooping on that kid too. So, great movie. Macaulay Culkin is in it. Rest in peace.
Is he? Wait, what do you mean rest in peace? He's not dead.
I know. I was just really being a dick by being like, I don't know what I meant. I was just being
your normal self.
I think I was just being rude. But yeah, he's the kid in it. He's the boy. You haven't seen. All right, look. I'm giving you a
No.
one-time out. You haven't
Come on,
seen it,
I have.
you?
I have seen it, but
He's the
it
kid.
was
He's the
probably
boy.
Many years ago.
But he looks just-
I can't remember that.
He looks just like he does in Home Alone, man. This ain't Home Alone 3, motherfucker. This is Uncle Buck.
Not to sound, I don't know how this is going to sound, so I'm just going to say it, but all kids look alike to me. I can't differentiate them, especially from what, early 90s, 80s,
Why?
late 80s.
What do you mean? The screen's not blurry. What do you mean because it's from the 80s?
All kids look alike. It all blurs into one. I don't remember. I think I've seen it once, maybe twice. So I think they're all blurring into one.
What do you think, listeners? Hashtag Buckgate. Has JP seen it? Tweet us. I think he's bullshitting.
Bullshitting.
Now, speaking of professionalism, this is a tweet that's taken us like the whole episode to read.
Oh, yeah. Moving on.
If Danny could Shazam myself, I will call out Ragnarok and become a fusion of Thor and Heimdall.
Come on. Wait,
What?
Sorry, I won't give anyone a hard time.
You might as well not break the trend now. What's wrong with that?
You can't merge two. You can't say Ragnarok. If you're going to say Ragnarok, surely you would just become the big flame guy, or you become Hela.
Yeah, but a big part
Shouldn't
of
it be like Thordal or Hor?
Yeah, but much like when you snap, as it were, you get to think about it too, right, and make a choice. So when you Shazam, obviously in our game, in a game that we made up, where you can yell out the name of something and turn into something else, I'm gonna let him slide on this one, and I like his answer.
Fine. But why? I don't know. It's kind of like when you pretending to have superpowers as a kid. I could do everything. I can steal other people's powers. It's like I thought the whole point was you're going to turn into one person, not make up a character.
Well, look, man, I think Danny can do what he wants, but that's obviously between you two now. So
I guess we have to wait for his reply.
I suppose we will. I suppose that we will, my friend. Now,
we will.
In other news, our boy Vic, a.k.a. Kodak Brown, co-host of the Buffet Boys, was our guest. You remember, you chatted with him, you liked him.
Yep.
And he tweeted at us, if you like the blues, go give this homie's single a listen. Killer work, Leezy. In reference to the Matt Lees Band and Remind Yourself, which is a song which is available right now on every single piece of digital music listening media, ladies and gentlemen.
Any digital music listening media, that's a good.
It's not as
broad.
pretty. It's not as pretty as the wording needs to be, but it kind of covers it. Like anywhere there's music streaming, I'm pretty sure it's on there. It's on a lot of apps I've never even heard of. All right, we're under the Matt Lees Band. And we have a second single up right now, too, called Maybe I'm Not Leaving, But Baby, I'm Leaving You. And I'm doing it all myself because I realized it's easier than I always thought it was, or it's become a lot easier recently. So it's time to release some music, not just to release it and know that people out there might like it and listen to it, which people seem to say they do. So thank you very much for everybody for that. Support independent music and all that shit. Now, we also had a tweet from our boys over at Not Another Nerdy Podcast. Now, this refers to a few weeks ago when we were referred to as the raunchy members of the IHOP network. I cannot for the life of me remember now who said that, but somebody said that, It's like we're post-snap or something. Anyway, now they said that we were the raunchy ones, and I made a reference back to Not Another Nerdy Podcast where they had said, referring to, is it Brie Olsen, Miss Captain Marvel?
Yes.
Essentially she can suck whatever she wants.
Yes.
Right. And then we got from them, of course she can suck whatever she wants. Great episode, boys. And that's from our friends over at Not Another Nerdy Podcast. So thank you very much for that. Now, okay, we have from Big Jim in Ontario, Canada. He says, FYI, Project Blue Book. Remember I was talking about that awesome TV show that you got bored with?
I wouldn't say awesome, but yeah.
Come on, man. It's a great TV show. And Big Jim says Project Blue Book was originally a TV show in the 70s with the same premise and was one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. Good on you, Jim. I agree. Well said, sir. Now,
I mean, each to their own.
all right. Now, as much as I enjoy you poking and winding up the listeners, as it were, it's also fun because the listeners a few weeks back also took a dig at you, Just Johnny. Are you ready for this?
Did they?
Well,
Bastard.
speaking of our friend Vic from the Buffet Boys, you remember for our choices, when I Shazammed myself, I picked Superman. And he says, hashtag LIMST, Superman, come on, lazy. Superman is the most boring superhero in the history of superheroes. I'm a little disappointed you didn't pick Macho Man. Ooh, yeah, dig it.
Yeah, okay.
Now wait, hang on, wait. Before you speak,
Come on.
No, just no, please. I'm gonna let you speak. But I immediately replied to him with which direction I thought you would go with that. So now I would like you to just please go ahead and react to that, please.
He's not a superhero.
Okay, I said no way. Just Jon would have counted Macho as a superhero, but I'm with you. Poor choice on my part.
I mean, come on, he's not a superhero. He might have been a good wrestler and a nice public figure, but yeah, I wouldn't. No, he's not a huge superhero.
Well,
but again, if this is like a childhood hero, and if you want to Shazam into him, then it's up to you.
Well, funny you should say that because my favorite Buffet boy, Vic, also says, knowing that you would say, that. He's not a superhero. What if, even if he comes back from the dead?
Yeah, he would be. Well, no, he wouldn't be a superhero then. He'd just be like, like Jesus.
Yeah, but look at his outfit. Look at his outfits and tell me Macho Man is not a superhero, please.
Okay, I just want to quote Joe Rogan.
All right. Are you Googling it first?
No, and he's like, when I say something's gay, I don't mean it, homophobic. I don't mean it offensively. I mean that is literally like two dudes fucking. He wears what? Flash. Doesn't he just wear wide fronts, big boots, and a cape? And he play wrestles with people. He's like in any other situation that would be kind of more adult themed.
I know it's a great bit. It's very funny.
So it's a gray area.
It is a gray area. But anyway, all right. I say Macho is a superhero, and I say, fuck you, frankly. But hey,
well,
it's okay. It's okay. Anyway, Vic goes on to say he would want Spidey as his Shazam. It's like you're the ultimate, like, fuck it. Fuck. I'm excited now for the day where you're actually impressed by somebody's answer. Anyway, for his big yourself, please go ahead.
No, go on. For his big.
Anyway, look, he wants Spidey as his Shazam and Idris Elba as his Hanks. Fuck. And Idris Elba as his Hanks, just to confuse the audience, he says.
What do you mean? Oh, okay.
And he says, it has to be said, though, one more time, Superman is the most boring hero ever.
See, I kind of, at one point, used to agree that Superman was a bit lame, a bit boring. It's like, it is like that, I could do everything. I could fly, I could shoot beams, I could run really fast. But it's kind of also an interesting, I think he is an interesting character. It's depending on who wrote him, because there's some comics out there that just fucking floor you. Because he's, for all intents and purposes, a god. He can do anything. He can, he's not really bound by the same limitations that we are.
No,
and it's interesting to see him have to deal with. It's kind of like if everything in your world was made out of paper, and everyone was, had that Samuel L. Jackson brittle bone disease.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you have to be very careful and so on edge. And it's nice to see him limiting himself, and especially the comics where he doesn't fight the big bad, like, where he spends 24 hours just floating outside a skyscraper as this woman's about to jump. And she makes him promise that if she jumps, to not touch her, to let her fall. And they just chat and, just see, like, stuff like that. It's kind of, again, I know it's cartoon.
Spoiler alert, does he let her fall?
No, he saves her.
Nice. Good man, Superman. There's a beautiful moment in Smallville where Clark Kent is always worried that he's going to hurt Lana Lang in a very similar way to that. And I think as I matured, I hate to bring in Smallville, and I'm sure you're going to roast me for that in a second, but as I grew and matured as much as I have, I found that I liked my superheroes flawed, a little bit on edge and a little bit imperfect and things like that. And early, like that typical Superman for me was a bit too pristine, a bit too pretty, a bit too clean around the edges, but sometimes you like that. So it's hard to, I like both sides of it, because I also love in the Superman movie when Christopher Reeve also plays heel Superman, and he's that like, I'm a god, I can do whatever I want. And that's kind of fun to watch too. There is a movie coming soon about that, isn't there?
Is there?
Yeah, I know one of the listeners will hook us up with the information. There's the comic book about, I think you may have given me this graphic novel. If Superman turned, when he got here, if he turned evil.
Ah, Bad Boys.
No, not Bad Boys. If
The Boys.
If the Russians got Superman instead of the Americans or something.
Red Sun.
That's the one. Yeah, did you not?
There's a film about that?
Yeah, but you gave me the book, right? I'm sure you did.
I think so.
I've read it, and I'm sure you gave it to me, which thank you very much. But there's a movie coming very soon based on that very thing.
Oh,
because recently the trailer got accidentally played in front of a kids movie, and apparently everybody freaked the fuck out because it's very dark.
Red Sun.
Red Sun, yeah. Take a Google search and let me know.
In this shit right now, Red Sun.
I'm amazed you didn't know already. I think there's already a trailer, so it must be out soon.
Animated movie. So obviously it's gonna be an animated movie.
I don't know, man. I have no idea.
Yeah, Red Sun is happening. Casting details. It's a animated film, but like someone tweeted it on the 8th of January this year.
There you go. And it's a pretty famous director or producer or something. I'm a really good news guy.
Sure, why not? Whoa. Where is it? Fuck, I just said something about Henry Cavill then. Henry Cavill cited Red Sun as one of 4 Superman. Oh, wait, his inspiration for it. But there's also another TV show coming up. I don't know if it's Netflix, called The Boys.
Yeah,
which is kind of set in a world where superheroes exist. Like they aren't Superman or any Marvel characters that but like obviously some of the powers, like the main guy, he's basically Superman, even though he's not. If you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's raunchy.
It's very adult. Like it's fucking. It's kind of trying to think. Along the lines of Saw, like that kind of levels of. Oh fuck! Did they really just do that? Like, one of the guys doesn't realize he's got superpowers. He swings for someone and just knocks the head, like just snaps his neck up and fucking kills the guy.
Yep. You gifted this graphic novel to us as well.
I think I hope I did.
You did, and I could not read through it all. It's a little bit much for your boy Leezy, but Rachel enjoyed it.
But like, I was just gonna say, if you could be any superhero, why be Spider-Man? I mean, I get, he's flawed. He might have the web swingers. He might get to fool around with Mary Jane, or
people are entitled to their choices, my friend.
No, they are. But it's kind of like, if you could, obviously you're bound by anyone that exists, but like, Spider-Man, really?
Well,
come on! I've been busting on everyone's choices. I got to bust on this one now.
Yeah, but my good friend JJ Hawkins, I know when he listens, or when he listened, he would say Wolverine, a loser. So everybody each their own,
Yeah, but you busted on your Superman choice.
Yeah, I know, but
the thing is that one of the reasons why I'd like to be Wolverine is just for the degree of healing / immortality.
Yeah, imagine the things we could do to you.
Right, I would you could chop off your willy, leave it places,
whoa,
it'll grow back.
Whoa, that got weird fast, my friend.
I mean, well, I'm assuming I'd have metal bones.
Well, there's only one way to find out. What if you're wrong? Then you cut off your dong.
It grow back. But you are aware there's no bone in your boner, right?
I know, but
okay.
I'm just saying that if you fuck this up and it doesn't grow back.
Or if I accidentally cauterize the wound as I'm doing it.
Oh, see, it's getting... And we're going to go back to listener mail, all right? Stop picking on the listeners.
Fine.
You can pick on the listeners. You just be yourself, Sugar. Now, Librarian Kate says, at Legend Podcast, if I could be any superhero, so this is our Shazam, it would be Black Widow. Just so I can have an excuse to wear all leather. Certain other IHOP members would like that, I'm sure. I'm very glad she wrote in, but I'm not sure who she'd be referring to there. So, and on that, do you know how we play that game that we can never remember how we sum it up, which is the, after you see a movie, would you stream it? Would you download it? Would you buy it? Or would you never have to see it again?
Yeah.
Librarian Kate says, we saw Shazam in the theater. It was fun, but I don't think it's something that we'll buy to own later. If it's on Netflix, we'll watch it. So that's a vote for stream it, you know?
Now she said that to a film that I said I'd buy it on Blu-ray. I guess I won't feel bad if I take a dig at Black Widow. Because, you know, if she's going Marvel, you could be Jean Grey. She gets to wear spandex / leather. Because, I mean, in the comics, you don't actually know what they wear. It's only in the film where you see her in leather. You know, but, like, why be a human?
Well, I guess that's for Librarian Kate to answer. Thanks for making me the baby face of the podcast, man.
What do you mean, the baby face?
Don't worry about it. It's a wrestling reference. You wouldn't get it. Now, Big Jim's back in the house, and I'm sure you're not going to pick on him because this guy's huge.
Depends on his answer.
All right. Well,
I can't. Hey, I can't take favorites. I got to rip on everyone.
Well, you know how earlier when I knew your reaction to something?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a pattern here. So, Big Jim says, at Legend Podcast, to Big himself, it's John Candy.
Okay.
Well, what do you got to say now? You gave Danny a hard time. What do you got to say to Big Jim?
See previous answer.
Okay, fine. Hashtag see previous answer. Superhero. I would be legendary, Mexican, luchador, hero, super Argo. And I'd have to yell, Pendejo!
I guess that reference is lost on me.
And so many other things are.
But again, if it's a wrestler, please see previous answer.
You know, sometimes you're rude, but I like you.
Oh, no, I know.
I like the cut of your jib, sir. Now, speaking of liking the cut of somebody's jib, I told you I was on Ozzy and the Palm. And after they posted the episode saying, check out our buddy Matt Lee's here, Legend Podcast, Farmer Mike jumped in on that thing and on that feed and said, I don't know where you found that guy, but he seems all right, like my kind of scum.
Is that like a wrestling reference?
I think he's just referring to like it sounds like he thinks I'm a bit of a dirtbag, and it sounds like he's a bit of a dirtbag, and we're just kind of chilling together, I think.
Yeah, well, okay, I'll allow it.
And then he put a hashtag there that just says hashtag suck it. Doesn't say anything else in that hashtag that I can see. It says hashtag suck it Steve. I don't know what that's a reference to. And we have then Sarah, the flower lady on Twitter. After hearing that episode, she said, I think Steve is great, but hashtag suck it Steve was fucking ingenious. So,
suck it Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I think...
Is that a wrestling reference?
It's obviously something funny that I said, but post-snap, I just don't know. Anyway, so there you have it. There's all our listener interaction. I think that's everything. I'm super glad that everybody got in touch, aren't you, man?
Yeah, it's nice
to
have our fans write in.
Oh, you shut up. They're not going to be fans of yours anymore, and they won't be writing in.
I don't think they ever were fans of mine, I mean.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. I mean, because you're going to get some fucking aggro now, sir, I think. So
no change there for me, then.
No. All right, so there's our it's great that our listener interaction took half the episode. That's awesome. Thanks, guys. Please keep it coming. At Legend Podcast on Twitter. Because I said coming, keep it coming.
Yeah, keep it coming.
All right, okay, get it out of your system now. Usually you and I say, "What have you done that's exciting this week?" And we both end up saying nothing. That's not true this week, is it, buddy?
Yeah, I've done nothing this week.
No, it's not. You're lying because we, myself, yourself, and my lovely wife.
We,
Rachel,
myself, and I.
That's right. We are now basically best friends with somebody, aren't we?
Somebody famous.
Pardon me. So, to tell this story properly, ladies and gentlemen, we need to go all the way back
to 1999.
That's
I don't
right.
know. I don't know what year. It could be that year.
It was the year 2000. You were very close.
Oh, so close.
Back in the year 2000, young boy Matty Lees here one day heard on the radio a beautiful melody that forever changed the path of his life. Well, that's not exactly true, but
Did it change like the path of your life? Would you have been somewhere else if not for that song?
I don't know. Who knows, right? Who knows anything? But so all those years ago, I heard the song Teenage Dirtbag by Wheatus. And what a fucking song this is. And a lot of people say, I don't know that song. And I say, yeah, you do, you Momo. And then they realize that they know it. So
yeah, you say the band Wheatus. Who? Teenage Dirtbag. Oh, yeah.
So for me, that song was insane. Because back then there was no Spotify or Apple Music or any of that stuff. If you wanted a song, you had to buy the CD or the record or the tape or record it off of the radio. Right? That was the only way.
Yeah.
So I remember this song being one of those songs where I used to wait with a cassette tape in the radio waiting for this song to come on so I could run over and hit record. That's how early I was. But then I'm starting at the same time I'm breaking into radio. So I remember when the CD showed up with that song on it and it was just like, oh man.
Oh shit.
So it starts all the way back then because it's a fully self-produced album made by Brendan and the band themselves, recorded in Brendan's mother's living room. You can hear all about that on Matt Lee's Gets Creative, the season finale of season 1 was myself and Brendan from Wheatus. Now it starts all those years ago because I buy the CD in 2000. It talks about in the inlay about self-production, and then there's an email address. And right then and there, I send an email to the email address and I say, can I interview you for my radio show? That was in 2000. Now, many different paths go by and many different things happen. And then one day in 2019, I have an email with a phone number in it. I ring the number and I'm talking to Brendan from Wheatus, the guy who wrote that very song. Mind-blowing. Unbelievable experience for me. But it gets better, right? Because he's on tour here in the UK. They're close to us, Well,
like physically?
Well, they were, weren't they? So we decided to take a drive because the concert itself was sold out, right? But they announced a meet and greet where you get an acoustic performance and you get to meet Brendan and the band, and for a very reasonable price, like $30, right, per person. Great price.
Yep.
So we buy these tickets even though the concert's sold out. And we get there, and for this price, ladies and gentlemen, it was myself, my wife, and my podcast wife, and like 5 other people seeing a private acoustic performance from Wheatus, which is worth every single penny of it. Was just an unbelievable experience. Then, he hangs out with everybody to take pictures, right? And he walks over to you, Just Johnny. Why don't you tell a little bit of the story here?
Just thought you'd sort of ask, so tell me about yourself. And then being the normal, smooth, wild motherfucker that I am, kind of started giggling and looking to you and being like,
You froze. You were a deer in headlights, essentially.
Yeah, because I was like, shit, there's nothing I can say, because if I lie, you're going to be like, no, you're fucking not.
That's true.
Or, if I say anything that's not true, you're going to lie. Or even if I'd sort of told them the truth, you'd still find a way to rip on me. So I thought, fuck it. And because he was on your podcast, I said, I do his other podcast, and I'm the most interesting guy in podcast. And then he kind of lit up a little bit like, oh, yeah, tell me more. And I was like, no. That's an ironic name. I'm boring as fuck. It was kind of like
Yeah, and this whole time you were bright red, deer in headlights.
Yeah.
And he said, well, give me a hug, man. And you were just kind of like, oh, fuck, the conversation's over. Because it was like you're happy to be there, but you didn't want to have to conversate.
No, because it was kind of like, well, I go to work, and then I come home, and then I play games.
Yeah. Well, so I said, this is why I don't let him talk to guests. And he said, oh, it was just me. So we finally get to meet him in person. And as someone who's listened to him for 20 years, really cool that he's a really nice dude, man. Right?
Yeah. He was really friendly, chat, because he's big. Obviously, Wheatus is big. It was interesting. I don't know, you kind of get in your head thinking that these are going to be big, sort of snobbish rock stars. Like, no. But he was really friendly, down to earth, and he was cool. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, and what a venue, by the way, for seeing somebody like intimately, right?
Yeah.
Like, just unbelievable. Like, it was a very small location, ladies and gentlemen, up here in Merthyr. But again, if you want to see a band you really like, this was the spot to do it, man, because our day got better from there because we thought, you know what, we'll get the meet and greet. We like an early night too, don't we? So we thought, it's hours before the show. Worst case, we get to meet Brendan. We hear a couple acoustic songs. We take some pictures, and we're home early enough for Brooklyn Nine-Nine in bed. Separately, not all three of us at once, but you folks know what I mean. Keep your minds out of the gutter. Now,
well, with you never really do know.
Well, then there was this other part of us, wasn't there? Now, you always have this, like, it's not an arrogant thing, but you always have that, like, getting excited part of you, which you don't really think about, You don't kind of let yourself think about it. Another example would be, like, if you go for, I don't know, you enter a competition, right? And for a couple of minutes, you think, oh, I'm going to win. And then you think, oh, no, don't go there. Don't go there. Put it aside, right? So I think part of all three of us, because I had said it, was kind of like, if anyone can get us like tickets for the show, right, the sold out concert with Wheatus, it would be the lead singer of Wheatus, right?
Well, you'd think so, right?
You'd think if anybody can pull some strings, it's going to be him. But I agreed with myself in my own head that I wasn't going to ask for anything, right? I don't want to be that guy. He was gracious enough to talk to me on the phone for my podcast for like 45 minutes. He did not have to do that. That's more than enough. So I didn't want to push anything at all. So as we're all chatting, he gave us all nice hugs, and we're all just kind of chatting and hanging out together. And he says, I hope you're coming to the show tonight. And that was the moment, wasn't it?
Yep. Squeaky bum time.
Squeaky bum time. And I bet, did you flinch up when he said that? Were you like, oh no?
Yeah, because it was kind of like, should we lie? Be like, fuck yeah, we're going to be there. Just going to pop up for food and then run away.
Which is the typical Just Johnny lazy move, especially, well, not as much with Rachel because she's much more friendly and kind and social and nice than I am.
Makes us look bad.
Yeah, but if it's just me and you and we even like leave your eyesight for a moment, there's a good chance we're gone now, especially if it's a social event, right? But
we've come up with a new saying, haven't we?
Yeah, which will go ahead.
I'm going to the toilet. I'll see you Monday.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're just like, I'm out of here. But so he says, I hope you guys are coming to the show tonight. To which we said, I said, no, man. Look, we couldn't get tickets. It was a sellout. But we wanted to come and meet you because we thought the meet and greet would be really cool. So it's all good. And he said, no, we can definitely get you guys on the list, right? And he yells out to whomever was around him and said, hey, can we get these guys on the list? These are my pro podcast buddies here. And he said something like, these aren't just some regular schmoes or something, whatever it was. To which I know at least me and you were like beaming and kind of probably even rocking on our feet, right?
Fuck yeah.
And then here comes our boy Craig, who sorted out the day for us. And he says, absolutely. And he puts down on the list, Just Johnny +2, because you paid for the meet and greet tickets, right?
Yes, it was all in my name.
That's right. So you were the guy who got us on the Wheatus guest list.
You're fucking right, I was.
So that was just fucking delightful. So we got to just hang out during sound check, right?
That was interesting.
Yeah, and dude, as a musician and a sound guy, my favorite part of the whole thing was just standing at that bar with our drinks while fucking Wheatus were sound checking and setting up the room. And just conversating with each other and just interacting with each other and just busting each other's balls, right? For me, that was a favorite part of the whole day. Then they played Teenage Dirtbag during the sound check, which was pretty cool too. But I just loved hanging out with them, especially with Brendan walking around just playing the acoustic, right? And Matt, the bass player too, to hear the sound and everything. They were just kind of walking around with their acoustics and stuff. Amazing.
It was a surreal experience.
Definitely. Now, so we're in for the show. And again, we're just kind of hanging out. We're having drinks. You and Rachel were on the fucking booze hardcore.
You know us.
So you were on the fucking whiskey.
Wild.
Whiskeys. Did you have a hangover the next day?
No, I didn't have too much, so I made sure I slowed down a little bit.
Good man. Now, so if I wanted to just say for a moment, ladies and gentlemen, if Wheatus are playing near to you, especially listeners like Librarian K, because I think I know they're from New York, so I think they live sort of in your area-ish, pardon my American geography ignorance, but they're definitely worth it. And for you listeners here in the UK, they're still on tour until the end of May. And I think both Just Johnny and I would highly recommend that you go see them, even if you can only get the meet and greet. If you love Wheatus, that'll be so much fun. I mean, you're not going to get on the fucking guest list like the podcast heroes over here, right? But
no, you've got to be someone to do that,
right?
You know?
You got to be Just Johnny +2. But I definitely recommend it. Make sure you go and see him. We had a fucking awesome time. Now, we're up there in the hills of Merthyr. Now, interesting town. So of course,
say the least.
At a certain point, I'm driving, ladies and gentlemen. So before the show, in between show or before, we went and split a pizza, which is very classy. I like that. The three of us just sitting there mowing down on pizza. I did notice after the bar had food, the restaurant had the food, and that would have been nicer. But anyway, listen. So we're in there. Did we mention that we were hanging out with Wheatus during their sound check, and we're basically besties now?
Oh yeah, I think. No, I don't think you did, actually.
Oh, I did now. And I'm going to go out and say it. We're also Wheatus' favorite podcast. There, I said it. Who knows, right? There, I said it. He said we were his pro podcast buddies. So that's the story. Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. So we are your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast, and we are Wheatus' favorite podcast now. Because when they posted some photographs on their official accounts, who do you see in those photos?
Set?
Who do you see in those photos?
Me and Rachel.
Right, and my lower body.
Left, right side.
Yeah, but
half.
I then
they cut you off.
They sure did, fuckers. But anyway, I saw the picture and I said, "Hey man, that's us. I can't believe we spent Sunday hanging out with Wheatus." To which they replied, "We had a blast hanging out with you guys." So besties now.
We are fucking huge, you know.
It's fucking besties now, isn't it, mate?
Bet it was their dream come true.
Absolutely. So, my favorite parts of the day, is as amazing as they were, my favorite parts of the evening were definitely over once the doors opened and they let the general public in. I'm thinking
think about it. Like, don't get me wrong, it was most of the crowd was good, but there was a few people in the crowd that you kind of wouldn't put at a Wheatus concert, but you would say put at a pub in the middle of Merthyr on a bank holiday Sunday night.
Mm-hmm. And there came a moment where you and I made a spectacle of ourselves, didn't we?
I thought we weren't going to talk about this.
Oh, we definitely have to talk about it.
Thankfully, because you were on the right side of me, I don't think he noticed my spectacle.
Yeah, you just kind of pulled away and hid and left me to fight on my own. So what we're referring to, folks, is I think it's the opening acts have started playing, which were really awesome too. Everybody.
No, I don't think they were just on yet. I think this was
okay.
No, because I think it was just as soon as they opened the bar, or as soon as they opened the door.
Right. So we're just chilling. I've switched to the lattes. All right. And again, I hate to start name dropping, but the keyboard player from Wheatus comes over and orders a latte, and I was like, "Holy shit, they have lattes here! I love a good latte. Who doesn't love a good latte?"
Thanks a latte.
So I order. I'm going to order a latte. And then I say to you, you want one? And you say, go on then, I'll have one.
Yeah.
So she makes these two wonderful looking lattes, brings them over on the again, folks, we're in a pub on a Sunday night in the middle of Merthyr on a holiday night. And this place is starting to get bumping, because
I think it wasn't that busy at that point, was it?
No.
I think maybe they just opened the doors.
So, and it's a smaller place, so it's filling up quick.
Yeah.
And then there's me and your hero here, Just Johnny, presented with these two lovely lattes. And then a lovely, beautiful, proud Welsh gentleman, I'm going to call him Trump, and we're going to know why, walks up to me on my right and notices that I'm drinking a coffee, and he finds this rather amusing, doesn't he?
Fucking laughing. Wouldn't he say, do you want to do a double of that or something?
Well, he looks at it, laughs, turns around to his buddies and says points out that I'm drinking coffee. He says, "Do you want a double espresso in that or what?" To which I very cleverly said, "Hey man, I'm not trying to go to jail tonight." And he guffawed, he LOL'd as it were, turned around to his buddies and yelled, "He doesn't want to go to fucking jail." It's like a Richard Pryor sketch. Now, so obviously it could have gone a lot worse, right? Because
Oh yeah.
when I told somebody that story later, they said you were lucky to get her alive, man. So at this point, he then hears my accent, which is Canadian, but either way, and he says, "Oh, you must work for Wheatus. Are you with Wheatus?" And I could have honestly said the words, "Yeah, man, we're with Wheatus," because in that place and moment, it was the truth. Am I right?
Technically, we
were
you
literally-
got us in. We're on the list.
We're literally
they know our
wearing
names.
We're literally wearing the wristband for backstage, whatever. Not for the you know what I'm saying. So
You could have just easily said, "Yeah, with John +2."
yeah, I'm one of the +2s. I'm with Just Jon. But so I said, "No, man, no." So he then he's not as interested. He then still thinks I'm American, and then he lifts his shirt up. And what did we see when he lifted up his shirt?
A tattoo of Trump on his stomach.
Yeah, like on his ribs or whatever, wasn't it?
I don't want to slag off. Basically, it wasn't that good either, was it? At first, I honestly thought it was JFK.
Well, when I saw it, I thought it was fake. I thought it was one of those like not iron on, obviously, but you know what I mean, like the ones that you
never know about Merthyr.
Yeah, you never know, But we had a lovely time anyway. But so yeah, he's got this shitty Trump tattoo, which he's now, as you told me, through the evening showing it to everyone.
Everyone, flashing it to everyone. Like, it seems like any random person coming in, he's there like, "Oh, hello, look, I got Trump," lifting up his top.
Yeah. Very Welsh to be lifting up your top.
It does seem to be, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. So throughout the night, he keeps showing his Trump tattoo. Anytime I walk by him at all, he'll yell something about coffee. At one point, he put his arm around me and he said, "You want to go to jail tonight?" Ah! So, and again, very drunk, but very friendly, right? For the most part. Like,
yeah,
no beef at all. It could have been a much worse situation. So he wasn't annoying. He was kind of like, he was just a friendly dude. He was wasted, but again, he was positive. He was friendly. What more could you ask for, right? I mean, you could ask for him to stop showing you his tattoo, but hey,
Yeah, that could be fight and talk. So yeah, just
yeah,
let him have it.
Now, this crowd in Merthyr, though, and as a musician, I can appreciate this. They did not give a fuck about live music, did they, Just Johnny?
No. Just fucking shouting, like, as if you were in a nightclub, just shouting and talking, and it was a bit fucking frustrating.
Yeah, and it's like, yo, man, don't yell. The point isn't that I'm supposed to hear you, motherfucker. Like, and you're also standing, I know it's a smaller place, you're also standing right beside us and screaming at your buddy when there's a fucking musician on stage, sir. Have some goddamn respect.
Yeah, you have to pay to get into this venue, so
right?
You kind of know,
right?
You know why you're there.
Yeah, you want to fucking yell and scream? Go to fucking Weatherspoons, man.
Get the fuck out of here.
So essentially, that's annoying. Because again, like you said, why do you buy a ticket to then fucking yell over everything, man? Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
there's plenty of pubs around here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, shut the fuck up or get the fuck out. Anyway,
bitch.
We had a wonderful time. We're now obviously besties with Wheatus. We can't thank them enough for what an amazing experience that was. I was very sleepy the next day because I'm not very good at late nights, see?
Old age.
I'm an old man now, you see. So, but yeah, that was a phenomenal experience. Any other memories you have from our wonderful evening in Merthyr? Anything I've left out?
First time having Papa John's.
Oh yeah, that was okay, wasn't it?
For me, yeah, it was bad.
It's pizza, right? It's pizza.
It's a pizza.
Yeah,
but no, okay. I think it was a good night.
Yeah, it was nice to hang out with all of us. You didn't make out with any random chicks on the dance floor this time?
Or elbow any in the head.
That's what it was. You elbowed her in the head. You made out with her later.
Yeah, and then you laughed.
Did I? I laughed when you elbowed her, yes.
Yeah, on stage.
I don't know if we've told that story in recent years. So I'm on stage at one of my gigs up, funnily enough, probably somewhere like Merthyr, right? And for a rare occasion, it was a full place. And there were people on the dance floor just dancing around. There I am. I try not to do this when I'm singing, especially if I know people, but I don't like the eye contact, right? Because I'm a giggler. So sometimes it's hard to make eye contact with somebody at the wrong moment. So I look out on the dance floor, and there's Just Johnny doing what I can only describe as his own version of the Carlton dance from Fresh Prince. And that's relevant because his elbows are in a funny place. Right, Just Johnny?
I don't think it was that bad.
Well, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. So you're out there doing the Carlton Banks dance. All right, and then take over from there, Just Johnny. What happened next as I'm there serenading the room?
I'm going to say that some woman who was kind of doing the Carlton dance, but instead of, with her arms and elbows, with her head. And she headbutted my elbow.
So a random woman headbutts your elbow,
Yep.
AKA you you clipped this lady in the head with your elbow.
It wasn't hard. It was a little bit of a knock.
You immediately giggled.
Come on, it's going to sound like, I fucking full on laid into her, but I did not.
She did it. She did have to go to the hospital after.
Yeah, but that's,
No, she didn't. We're just kidding, folks. So of course I see this happen and I immediately giggle.
Yeah.
Because Just Johnny, we talked about this with our new friend Brendan from Wheatus. I don't know if we brought that up, but when you had like the deer in headlights look, right? Well,
Yep.
It was a very similar moment because you whacked this chick, you fucking dinged this chick in her skull, man, with your elbow. And then you just looked right at me with that deer in headlights like, oh no.
You say it so aggressively.
I know, because never let the truth get in the way. You get the point. So you hit the poor girl, you giggle, I giggle. Now I'm laughing in the middle of a song. And then next thing you know, we're trying to go home. And many moons ago, of course, Just Johnny's macking this chick.
This dude.
Honestly, that wasn't even on purpose. That was a total accident. Freudian slip, if you will, sir.
If you will.
But so yeah, that was a wonderful night. I loved those gigs we used to run around doing with you as my roadie.
Yeah, out in the valleys.
Up to Nevada. I think that was the same night I had to tell the fucking bridesmaid party to stop singing Frozen and shut the fuck up.
Well, to be fair, you did sing Frozen to try and...
Well, yeah, but every song I was doing, remember, they just kept singing over me? And as we talked about when we were talking about the show we were at with our friends Wheatus, I don't know if we brought it up. It's disheartening when the crowd is fucking talking over you, right?
Oh, best friends. Well, I'm not a singer, so I don't know.
So I can tell you that it is. So as I'm there singing at this set, having a nice time, there's this group of ladies that occasionally just break into "Let it go,
Let it go,
let it go." So the first couple of times I'm like, heh. And then at a certain point, I can't chops anyone because I'm being paid to be here by the bar, right? Because otherwise, I would just say, "Hey, yo, shut the fuck up, please."
Hey, yo, over here.
I would have sent you over as security, but no, you're roadie, not security. There's a big difference. More chance of sending Rachel over. Anyway, I say to them, listen, ladies, look, I'm glad you're having fun, but we're all trying to have fun too. We're all here together. I'll tell you what, if you give me a break on that stuff, I promise you in the second half of the set, we will sing Let It Go. And they listened, right?
Yeah, until you started singing it.
And then we sang Let It Go. In the second set, I had to fucking learn it on my phone in the car in the interim. I say that like it's a hard song. I didn't. I just looked up if I could just find the chord structure. Anyway, I start to sing it and I say, here's your chance, ladies. And fucking crickets, remember?
Was it like 3 times you tried?
Right. And nothing out of these women. They kept interrupting me singing it. And then when it's their big moment, just like you, deer in headlights with our best buddy Wheatus, nothing.
Bottled it.
So it's, one of those things, fuck it.
What are you going to do, eh? What are you going to do?
Well, listen, dude, we told a great story. We had some great listener interaction. We want to hear from all of you. I don't think Just Johnny has seen Uncle Buck. What do you think, listeners? Let me know. We still want to know if you want to big yourself or Shazam yourself. To catch you up, you can yell Shazam. Turn into any superhero of your choice. And to big yourself is like the Tom Hanks movie. Who do you want to turn? What grown-up do you want to turn into, as it were? So those are both things made up by our friend Just Johnny. He's then going to bust your nuts about it or bust your hump about it or whatever it is about it because that's what he does.
Yeah, what's my game, my rules?
Fair enough, dude. If you're going to be like that, it's because I taught you, and I can't argue with that. Good for you. Now, we did not talk about Endgame at all, but as my good friend Ben said from Indie Mac User, he had about 30 Endgame podcast to listen to. So I thought we'll just finish with very brief thoughts because I tried to go a different angle. You'll remember when I messaged you and I said, why don't we talk about what we didn't like? And what was your beautiful response to that?
Initially, it was that I didn't really have anything that I didn't like. But the more I think about it, the more I'm... this might sound sexist. Captain Marvel just seemed a little bit slapdash. She seemed thrown in.
Sure. But
she seemed like Superman in Justice League.
Yeah,
she turns up in the final scene or the final, was it chapter, verse 3? I don't know what you call it. Arc.
Yeah.
Shit, what do you call it in plays?
Final act.
She turns up in like Act 3 or whatever it is, or Act 4, because it's like an 8-hour film. And then, spoiler alert. For anyone that hasn't seen it.
Spoilers.
She manages to fly through a spaceship. She powers up, flies through a spaceship. And then, don't get me wrong, it's cool as fuck when she lands, sees Spider-Man, and you got to get it over there. How are you going to do it? And then all the female cast she's not alone. You know, that was kind of cool because it's nice to see them all together. It's a big fucking ensemble. But she just flew through a spaceship. She could power up and just fucking fly straight to Ant-Man.
Totally.
She
could also just snap Thanos in half.
Yeah, and she seemed a bit Superman, and she seemed a bit too chummy with them. She seemed like, don't get me wrong, she's quite stoic and badass, but I think she should have had a little bit more like Ant-Man, almost like become chummy with him. Like, yeah, dude, I have no idea who these are. Like, all I know is Nick Fury. Like, none of these, like, I don't know who any of these people are. Maybe I've heard of Thor, but, you know, or, you know, I know who the Guardians are because didn't they take down Ronan or something? But, like, she was a bit too...
Yeah. Well, listen, let me say, as much as I hate to say this first part, I do not disagree with you at all. And I also don't think it's sexist at all. You're not saying any of those things because the character is a woman. You're just saying those things because you didn't like the character. Now, or her interaction in this story. The character's arc in this story you didn't enjoy. I don't disagree with you. But here's what I think they're doing with that. I think this is phase 4 now or whatever the fuck they're calling it? She's for the next chapter. If this is the season finale, she's for next season. She's the brand new character. She's the new leader from now on. So as far as like Endgame goes, she didn't have a great thing at all, right? But I think when it becomes part of the big picture, which we know Marvel is so good at doing in the MCU, I think it'll make more sense. Now, I also agree with you though that like they didn't use her right. I mean, but I guess this was Tony Stark's story. So again, it's back to that she's for next time because she could have done all this by herself. Why? And again, if she's that powerful, right? She's super powerful. Why didn't she put on the gauntlet and do the snap?
Yeah, exactly. But not only that, if she's so powerful, why didn't they let her know what they're doing? Oh, by the way, we developed the time machine. We're going to go back in time. You know, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
I can understand that maybe when shit hits the fan. Like, who told her, oh, by the way, Thanos is here? Because, like, everyone's just fighting for their lives now.
Well, maybe she's able to... I'm sure she has a team, a squad. Surely we'll meet those in the other movies. Like,
I know that, obviously, she's working with Black Widow, Rocket. You know, they're doing shit in space or whatever. Or they're I forgot what they're doing, because
they're just that kind of out looking for trouble. Because Black Widow says anyone causes trouble that shouldn't be you, let me know. So
I can understand, like, obviously she's off doing her own thing. You know, yours isn't the only planet.
Yeah.
But then she wouldn't be the only superhero.
No, that's true. But I think all of that, as structurally poor as it is for this story arc, I think it's because she's next season, man. It's not her time. So they're building up for her, I guess, I suppose, you know. Because other than that, it was a beautiful story. But this one was Tony Stark's story. And I think it's, again, spoilers again. Spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen. There will be a spoiler in 2, 1. Tony Stark had to die, right? I mean, it's his story arc. From the first couple of movies, he's always said, this is all my fault. Like, everything that happened here with Thanos and everything else, all these deaths, all these horrible events, it's all my fault, right? He blames himself. Well, be it creating
again, wouldn't it be Loki's?
Well, yeah, but what I'm not saying he's right. I'm saying he blames himself from first developing the tech, from selling weapons and armory shit to people. When he lost Ultron, he blamed himself for all that shit. He blames himself for Thanos even coming to Earth in the first place because he's the one who threw the fucking bomb or nuke up into space, right? So
yeah, but they will come in anyway.
Sure, they were.
Because
but
I guarantee that if the invasion would work, Thanos might have even shown up with the Fantastic Four, whatever they're called, like his four horsemen.
Totally.
Just to wipe out half of it anyway, because Earth would have been a planet.
Sure. I'm not saying Tony Stark is right. I'm just saying.
But again, so if it's anyone's fault, it's Thor's.
It's definitely not Tony Stark.
Throwing Loki off the fucking Rainbow Bridge, and then him getting sucked off, and then him getting pulled to wherever that guy is, and going to invade Earth.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just saying, in the story of Tony Stark from the day of Iron Man 1, which is obviously the main character because that was the first ever movie, right? So this is his arc. He had to lay himself down for it because he blames himself. So that's the penance that he has to pay. Albeit selfish in the end because he has a daughter that now has to grow up without a dad. But that was the story arc, right? So overall, I give this movie 9 out of 10. I fucking loved it. I've heard people say that it's so dependent on the first one, and I'm like, of course it is. That's like watching Back to the Future 2 and being like, what? Like, I'm sorry, they don't always have to be independent. Out of 22 movies, you can watch most of those things as a standalone movie with somebody who isn't a deep fan, and they'll enjoy it, right? Maybe not Endgame.
You can even watch Avengers #1.
Right? Totally.
On its own without knowing who Iron Man or who everyone is. And
I think you could even watch Infinity War without knowing who everyone is.
Yeah, because most people know in this day and age.
Right. I think you'd struggle with Endgame, though.
A little bit, maybe.
But either way, I gave it a solid 9 out of 10. And out of the ranking system, this will definitely be a Blu-ray purchase because, as much as I love watching the thing in the theater, the first thing that makes me want to do is watch it at home in HD on my own sofa.
In your slobs.
Because I want to watch them back to back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you seen the $400 22 Blu-ray box set they're doing?
Yeah, it looks beautiful with the gauntlet on the cover.
Yeah.
It looks gorgeous. I think even you could be tempted towards that.
300 quid-ish over here, I reckon.
Whoa, that's a lot of money, man.
But if you think about it, 22 Blu-rays, 300 quid, it's like, my math is terrible, it's like £15 a Blu-ray, so that's about what you'd pay anyway.
I know, but it's a lot, isn't it?
Well, just do what we did for the PlayStation. Put like 40 quid away a month or something, £10 a week.
Yeah. Back when we were young and we used to save up to buy consoles, we were so cute.
Yeah, bless us.
Bless that. So we both loved it. What would you give it out of 10?
Yeah, I'd go 9. Cool. Like, obviously, always going to be room for improvement, but yeah, definitely 9.
Would you buy it? Are you going to buy it on the Blu-ray?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I guess you're contemplating buying a 300-pound box set to include this movie, so I guess that's a yes, right?
Yeah, because I will get a Blu-ray player at some point in my life, maybe.
Maybe. That's right. He's a PC gamer, folks. So he doesn't even own a console.
Yeah, and it's only recently that I realized, shit, I don't actually have a Blu-ray player because everything's digital these days. Yeah,
so that's why I'm looking at that 300-pound box set going, it's pretty and all, but it's just going to sit on a shelf, man.
Yeah. And not only that, like if you download everything, you could just literally like set play and let them all run one after one another.
Yeah, because these Blu-rays all come with the digi download code, right? Where you can download a full HD, the full fucking Blu-ray rip of it. It's a perfect copy. You can just watch those on your digital devices. So
just rename them 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's right. That's why I'm so excited when sitcoms show up on fucking Amazon Prime or Netflix because motherfuck changing a disc every 4 episodes. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck that.
Give me a break.
Old DVDs where it's like what? Sometimes 2, 3 episodes.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. I'm too old for all that.
Get out of here.
We watch sitcoms as like our background noise while we're eating dinner or just chatting after work or whatever, right? You do it when you're playing games. You'll throw something on that you've seen a dozen times, right?
Yeah, so something on in the background.
Yeah, you don't care that much, but you certainly don't want to be fucking changing discs. And what's the fuck with that when it goes back to the menu and now it's just repeating 15 seconds of the theme song and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, or you put a new disc in and it takes you like 5 minutes to even get to select play. Or the ones where you can't click play all 4 episodes, you have to play, and then each episode goes back to the beginning.
Oh, I know. What are these? Get that shit together. What are you doing? No play all. You know?
Come on,
And what about the ones where you can't skip the
2019?
trailers?
That's the whole reason why you bought it.
Right.
So you don't have to watch it on fucking...
It's 2019. We don't need trailers anymore on physical media because it's going to be immediately irrelevant.
And who would have thought the fucking cassette play video tapes were better? No fucking adverts. Remembers your point. Put it straight in, play, boom.
Right? There were trailers on VHS, though, but you could fast forward them.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can always fast forward them.
Well,
But like, you know, some people, if you were ballsy as fuck, would take it apart, clip, boom, got rid of.
you're a
Or
buzz.
did you never do that?
Do what? Say it again. Do what?
Open up a video VHS,
Yeah. The player or the tape?
the tape,
Right?
like try to find out roughly how long there is of ads and trailers. Just fucking cut them out, put them back in.
Oh, no. I would just fast forward that shit. I thought you meant you would like rent a video, take the tape apart, switch out the tapes, and give him back a blank one.
Good idea, though.
No, I never, Your Honor, I never did that with cassette tapes. It just popped into my head. I was just trying to be a big man in front of my podcast friend. And no, Your Honor, I never did anything of the sort.
My friend, my now brother-in-law, used to work there, so I never really did that.
So, we're perfectly innocent. We didn't do anything wrong. I don't even think we offended anyone this week. And of course, I mean the royal we, excluding you this time, because I think you offended loads of fuckers, and I can't wait to hear what they all have to say about it.
Yep. Let's see their argument. It's a debate.
That's fair enough. I like it. I'm just happy they're interacting. So even if it's calling me a douchebag or you a douchebag, I'm very happy that they're interacting. So please, folks, keep it coming. Thank you so much. That's at Legend Podcast on Twitter. Did I say coming again? I did, didn't I?
Keep it coming, yeah.
Well, you had me with yours, so we're both just as bad as each other.
He got sucked off.
All right.
Although, a good spoiler, just want to say this to get it in there. So, he's back again. The kid that's calling me a dickhead.
Definitely my favorite part. If he picks,
Is it?
yeah, if he picks on you again, you let me know.
I will. Thank you, Thor. Fucking love that guy, the rock guy from Ragnarok.
Amazing.
Made a cameo.
Yeah.
I think that made that Endgame even better. Just all the cameos.
And I've been telling you and Rachel for years that I am basically Thor. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been another edition of your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast and the favorite podcast of Wheatus. I've been Matt Lees.
He's been Just Jon.
Please remove yourself from our podcast with post haste. You say it how I usually say it.
Get the fuck off our podcast.
You're just like a little train
Yeah, but
monkey.
you threw me.
I know, you're just like a little train monkey. I tell you what to do and you do it.
But you threw me. I wasn't expecting.
Well, give it a good one.
I don't want to know.
Give it a good one.
That's what she
Do it.
said.
That's what she said. Do it. Go ahead. Close the
Get
show.
the fuck off of our podcast.
That was a good one. Bye-bye.
Legend